Yo, now this is meant for forex bulls. Anyways, we just ordered this. So what's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And of course, it's your boy Video Lab back in today's video. So in today's video, of course, I'm going to be sharing something really so important. So I've been trading, of course, for years right now, and I've seen, of course, the ups and downs. But now in this video, I want to basically share one of my important strategies. Like, I've been able to use this strategy to grow my small accounts. Take a look at this. So this is one of my big accounts right now. So check this out. So this, now as you guys can see, it's a big account as per now, but it wasn't big in the beginning. No, it means I was basically able to grow it over the time. So that's what I'm going to be basically sharing with you guys. So if you like the video, guess what, smash that like button for YouTube algorithm, and of course please make sure you subscribe to see our community grow. So we are going to slide into the video without any further ado, because I don't want to do too much talking. So let's slide into it. So what's up guys, and of course we are going to briefly, of course, look at this strategy. So we aren't using any indicators, nope, but it's really so easy to understand, and I basically guess you guys will grasp the whole concept by the end of the video, right? So let's slide into it. So this is GBP JPY, as you guys can see in here, and of course we are currently on the H4 hour time frame. So let me show you the main things that I'm looking at in this strategy. So as you guys can see in here already, I have one of my points here. You can see that this is one of my points. Now I'm going to show you what I looked at on coming up with this point. And again, you can see we have a horizontal blue line. Now I drew this line to cover up the key levels, okay? I call them the key levels. Why? This is like what we are going to look at. I guess you guys are really going to understand this. Now these levels can be supply and demand, or support and resistance, okay? Either support and resistance, or supply and demand, something like that. Though I personally, I don't look at supply and demand. Nope, I consider support and resistance, and it's really so easy for beginners, intermediate traders, you know, and pro traders. It's really so easy to understand, just like what we are going to basically look at right now. Now let me show you how I basically came up with this line here, and then what trades I would be basically looking at this point here. Now let's get into it. So we do have I'm going to kind of reduce my charts and then show you. So as you guys can see in here, I was looking at this touch here, we have another one here, and then we have a third one. So as you guys remember, of course, we have been discussing this time over time, you know, that whenever you're drawing, of course, support and resistance, you're just looking for at least 1, 2, 3 touches, right? So whereby this could be our resistance, or this could be our support. You guys understand? So that's the main concept behind. Now in this particular case, I may not be basically looking at these points being my support and resistance. Nope, I'm just looking at a point where the markets respected a level where the markets could have reached and then bounced off, reached and then bounced off. This is like how you guys can see in here. So we have a first point here, this being the first one, the second one, the third one. That's the first concept, right? So you guys get it. So after getting that, now what are we looking at next? So let's get into it. So if I go ahead and kind of reduce my charts, of course you guys can see that we also had one more touch here. The market reached the horizontal line and then bounced off again. We can see another one here. So this is more of a valid line, okay, a valid key level. Let me draw one more so we can really see. So I'm going to draw one more. Sorry, this is trend line. We need to use horizontal lines, okay? So let me say I draw this here. So I'm going to adjust it to at least have a couple of touches, right? So guess what, we have one. Let me use this to illustrate this clearly. We have one touch, two, this is invalid because the markets broke above and then returned though. Then we have three, this seems to be one. We shall look at it on a different time frame and see how it looked like. So as you guys can see that we are just basically looking for those key levels, right? So after identifying the key level, now we are going to be looking at the trading opportunities. So as you guys can see, now we are looking at this point right now. So when the markets of course reach the key level, this key level here, our horizontal line, guess what happened? We saw an engulfing candlestick forming. This is an engulfing candlestick. I'm going to illustrate that in a few. Look at this. So this is an engulfing candlestick. What happened? Let me do this. So you can see that initially we had, let's change the color, let's use green. Awesome. So initially you can see that we had a bullish candlestick. This is it, right? Let me design this right. Okay, sorry. Again, I'm just trying to really make this so clear for you guys to understand. This is how it looked like initially. Boom. And guess what happened? So all of a sudden we saw a big bearish candlestick forming, as you guys can see it in here. So we saw a big bullish candlestick forming and closing below. So it closing below the previous bullish candlestick, this makes it an engulfing candlestick. So this is going to be called an engulfing candlestick. Okay, so this kind of gives us some confidence. Why? First of it all, we have seen it was initially a key level. This was a key level because we can see that the horizontal line was respected multiple times, as what we discussed. Of course, as I told you guys, that it was respected about 3 times once, this being a second time, this being a third time, and then this being a fourth time. So after looking at this, guess what happened? We have an engulfing candlestick forming. Now the question is, do you take the trade immediately? My answer would be no, you don't take the trade immediately. Why? Or maybe that trade, or maybe it could have been a pullback, and then, because this often happens, maybe it was a pullback and then the markets are pushing to the upside. You know, this is really so important, and I want you guys to really grasp the concept behind. Now, so check this out. So we can see after a big bearish candlestick forming to engulf this, we saw just some small bearish candlesticks forming, and then we saw a pullback, right? A pullback back to our trend, our key level, and then guess what happened? A downtrend. Now we can easily analyze this on a smaller time frame, so let's try it out on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, awesome. Now let's see what happened. Oof, this is now amazing. So initially this is what we are looking at. So this is on the H1. Now this is basically all about you combining your support and resistance skill set with trading patterns. Now look at this. So we saw an M pattern forming. So as you guys can see, this is a very good M pattern. But remember, sometime back we discussed that when do you take trades using these patterns? We are looking at such a thing. So let's say this is the first, I know we can call it a head, then this being the second one, this being the third one. So this actually makes a double top already, 1, 2, right? But now we don't take a trade immediately. No, we are looking for the markets to come back and do a retest on what we call the neckline. Okay, when the markets come back for a retest, it's when we are taking a trade at this point. So it means we are basically looking for trades at this point here. So we're going to call this the neckline. Okay, this is really so easy, guys. We are basically combining the trading patterns and the key levels, right? Now it's the same thing that happened. So as you guys can see in here, of course, we saw the M pattern forming, and now we have a neckline at this point. And guess what happened? We see a pullback to come for a retest. This is the level, the point of retesting. This is our retest. Oh, sorry, retest. boom. And guess what, now this is why we take the sell trade. Okay, now this is why we take the sell trade. We take the trade at the retest. Guess what, it gives us a very great risk to reward ratio, because we have a very small stop loss. I'm basically going to place my stop loss just above the retest. Why? Because I know this is also a key level. If it's broken to the upside, that's fine with me. That's fine with me, because it's a key level initially. So if this and that happens, boom, it's all right. You guys get the point. So as you guys can see in here, this is the same thing that happens. So we can see that the markets had to come back for a retest, and guess what happened? A push to the downside, right? So on the 4-hour time frame, we saw a big engulfing, a big bearish candlestick forming, and it engulfed the previous bullish candlestick, just like in this explanation here. And guess what happened later on? We saw the M pattern forming, and of course we saw a retest and boom to the downside. Right now, let me stretch this a little bit. So if I'm to stretch this up to here, again we can see something forming up. If we are to go back to the H4, you're going to see something really so nice. Let's go back to H4, and then I'm going to show you something awesome. We're back. So let me delete this here to avoid any confusion. Good. Now what's forming on the H4? I guess you guys could be asking. Let me delete this too. Now we have this, so I can extend this to draw a clear trend line. Oof, this is really amazing. So what are you guys looking at? We have this, so we have a key level, boom, that's a key level, right? Because we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, right? And again, guess what, this was initially a trend line, but now it's getting broken. This is a trend line initially, right? Because you can see that the markets are reaching it, pushing up, reaching it, pushing up, reaching it, pushing up, reaching it, pushing up. But now this time around, it has been broken. This is the same thing that happens whenever a key level is broken. This is the same thing that happens. We are going to expect what we call a retest. Okay, we're going to expect a retest. So we have one, so I would be getting a sell at this point here. Okay, let me delete this. Oh, sorry. Now I'm going to be expecting a sell trade at this point here. Again here, of course, losses are inevitable, but at this point here, I would take a trade with my stop loss, with my take profit, of course, 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. It means I'm risking 1 to make 2, but then let me first adjust my stop loss. I'm going to extend it a bit above the level of retesting, right? So I guess you guys really get the point behind this. So we are basically looking for the key levels, right? The key levels, we said it can be support and resistance, and you can easily identify these levels. And the next thing that we are basically looking at is those trading patterns. This is going to literally change your whole trading game, because this is how everything happens. This is all about price action, you mastering what goes down in the price changes without using any indicators, because at some point indicators are also a bit confusing, because you're going to need about 3 confirmations from all the indicators, and it's a bit so boring. So I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video, and please make sure you hit the like button, and of course please make sure you subscribe. So see you guys in another video. I'm out.